listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Maron After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Maron After Show.
Hey there, Maron fans. You know where you are. This is AFTERBUZZ TV, the Maron After Show, Season 2, Episode 2, Marc's New Best Friend. I'm Matt Lieberman. Join me on the panel. Finally, everyone's here. JB Zimmerman's here.
Happy to be here, people.
Yeah,
again.
Steve Kaufmann is here.
Good to see everybody.
And Jessie Klein is here.
Oh, hey everyone.
Yes, Stephen Lemieux in the booth.
Yeah,
Pumping out some wonderful
Again.
jazzy
Oh, yes.
tunes.
Love
The Everybody
Smooth
Loves
jazz.
Raymond theme song in honor of special guest star Ray Romano.
Wait, this isn't an after show for Everybody Loves Raymond?
No.
Get out.
Crap.
This is the
Oh, no.
after show. This is the after show for the show that's already off the air. Right. Okay, so folks, another great episode of Maron. Maybe, I don't know, it was interesting to me because now with the second season, we're getting bigger and bigger guest stars who aren't just coming on just for their interview bits. They're, greatly affecting the story. And I was talking with some friends midway through the week, and, one of them made this comment that I didn't necessarily agree with, but, like, I want to know how you all land on it. And they were saying, the second season, it isn't great so far. It's too focused on the guest stars and like what they can get away with versus like the very simple, efficient storytelling of the first season. And like on a level, I get where the complaint comes from. Because if you love episodes like, the one with the dead animal under the house.
Yeah.
This is the exact opposite, where we're taking ourselves out of Marc's normal everyday life and kind of getting kind of a fantasy version where celebrities come on the show and screw with them and then leave. I personally, I've been enjoying the episodes so far, but how do you guys feel? What kind of show do we want? And is that selfish to ask for the show that you want to see?
Well, I prefer the big stars coming on and playing caricatures of themselves, or it brings a level of reality I like, versus they just come on and do their podcast bit and don't want to take any risks. Like Chris Hardwick played a pretty bad caricature of himself last week, and it made the episode way more fun.
Yeah, I kind of like the show as a platform for Marc to kind of play around with. Like I think as long as he's having fun, then that's fun for me. I like the efficient episodes in season 1, but I like these episodes as well, where it seems like he's having more fun and kind of like a little bit looser.
Yeah. What do you think, JB?
I love the cameos. I thought having sort of two people, known comics, come in per episode for both of the season or shows this season really helped out. I mean, I love the first season too, having that kind of real life stories, but it sort of makes it a little bit more interesting having the guests, the special people who we don't get to see. I think if season 1 was allowed to be this season as well, it might get a little boring. I mean, there's only so much of his old life that we can transform into TV and make it interesting.
Sure. But what I love about what Jessie said, and I really like this idea of the show as a platform for Marc's sense of humor and his sensibility, and how he wants to play with this version of himself. A lot of people give Louis as a series, a lot of compliments for, having a very nebulous nature. It can be anything. It can do anything. It's just an extension of Louis C.K. as an artist. And I think that Marc Maron has earned the right to have that same kind of a platform, and it's a unique scenario where you have a comedian playing a version of themselves, introducing a lot of elements from their life, and then, feeling free to go with them or abandon them as he sees fit.
Yeah, I kind of think it parallels his life as far as like the podcast. The first season or the first few seasons, it was kind of there, and then all of a sudden it exploded, and then he was starting to book huge guests for that podcast. It wasn't just his friends; it was huge guests, and I think It's just kind of like that's the progression the show is going in as well.
Right. I like that idea where it's sort of the show within a show and then back again. It sort of fuels his own brand in like a really efficient machine. Louis, which I really like as well, sort of goes a different way, more artistic, as you sort of touched on, where it's kind of his delusions as a comic and just kind of exploring that in an artistic way, like using the camera efficiently to do jokes that you can't really do any other way. Maron sort of takes his podcast format and makes it a show, so I feel like he gets some criticism with that, based on the fact that you don't really need to have be watching it essentially to get the humor. But
Well, I mean, they're both social commentary shows.
Right.
I feel,
Yeah.
you know, Louis is again. I use this word nebulous, not in any kind of a negative way, but because it is so very structureless. Versus Maron is taking the convention of a sitcom, of the comedian sitcom, and using it to make societal commentary, using it to make commentary about his own failings and, you know, how he feels about himself, how he feels about celebrity, talking about his relationship that's now ended in, you know, this very interesting warts and all approach. I personally, as a viewer, really appreciate the groundedness of it.
Yeah, and I think using the podcast within the show is a great device to just kind of get out how Maron's feeling in that show. Like, it's a great writer's device. And this one where he's talking about like having friends, and when he was in high school wanting to have a friend so that he could then be like that friend, whereas an adult just have people accept him as who he is. Like, I think it was a great way to just kind of get that premise out there without having to do an entire scene about it.
Exactly. Well, let's talk about friendship, because this episode is all about adult friendships, male friendships. I feel like as time goes on, right, you hit a zenith, I would say, in your early 20s of ease of being able to make guy friends as an adult. Like, it's really easy to make friends on some level, or at least for some people when you're a kid, because you're basing it on very, you know, stupid criteria. We live next door to each other, let's be friends.
We're best friends if we live next door to each other.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't matter if we like the same thing or not. We're best friends.
Oh, we
Next
both
door-
play video games? Friends.
Best friends. Yeah, sure.
Geography and a common interest? Oh, God, we're
Yeah.
Right.
besties.
But as you get older, you know, it's hard to approach people. It feels weird to be like, so where are you from, bro? I see you're drinking an IPA. I'm an IPA guy.
Yeah.
You watch the sports?
Man, I love sports. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, if you called it the sports, probably doesn't help.
No one's
Probably
calling
just
it the
you
sports.
watch.
Yeah.
But also the fact that they're celebrities now, or pseudo-celebrities, makes them so insulated as people. I mean, when you're in that industry, you're so surrounded by everybody that just works with you. So it's a very different environment than just being able to walk around and approach people in a natural way where they're not trying to get something from you, or they're not trying to act a certain way to impress you or get anything. I mean, it's impossible to have a organic relationship with someone once you've hit a certain level, and I think they deal with that.
Or at the very least, it's very difficult, and they
Right.
get rarer. But I don't know that that's necessary. It's touching on what I think this episode's about and what I want to talk about in a second. But I want to talk about the coffee shop opener first, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And always great to see Sergio Sealy turn
Yeah.
up on television.
Yeah.
But in any case, Marc is at this coffee shop, and there's these young guys who are just having a ball, and they are just these hipster douches who are just dominating the coffee shop. And I feel like they're being a little bit vindictive, taking all of Marc's chairs. You know, they could have taken chairs from anyone.
Yeah, I think they're screwing with him for sure.
Oh, of course. And
Yeah.
they're thinking it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because who's this asshole?
You know, I find myself thinking that exact same thing where it's like, oh, look at these young, cool kids who are like making fun of me and whatever. And then I realize that those young, cool kids are older than me, and I'm just being a curmudgeon younger than these young, hip kids, and I'll never understand their culture. They're older than I am.
Ooh, these hip
I'll never
35-year-olds.
understand their culture. They were born in the early 80s.
Yeah, exactly. What are they talking about?
Yeah, they had cassette tapes for way longer, those jerks.
I love how he gets his vengeance though afterwards
Oh,
and
yeah.
kind of rubs it in their noses. Just
but it makes him look so pathetic to be like, you know,
That he
like,
cares.
Right. I have a famous friend slapping the table.
Look at me, Ray Romano.
Yeah.
He also left his empty coffee cup on the table as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Take care of my trash.
Yeah. Why don't you take care of my trash for me?
Take care of it.
Yeah. So he chucks this table at these kids, and he storms off to do an episode of the podcast, and he's talking to Ray Romano, and you know, it's so interesting. The post "Everybody Loves Raymond" Ray Romano fascinates me so greatly, just because like I loved Men of a Certain Age, and also just when you're that successful, and you know, all of a sudden you don't have an outlet of that same, like, you know, 20 million viewer base, and you just are a comic who's not doing anything, what happens to you? And I feel like, you know, Maron touches on that a lot, you know, just because he's been doing this for years and years and years. But the idea of an aging Ray Romano with his sensibility and all the money under the sun, just wandering around buying sports memorabilia and muttering to himself, I feel like it's not far off. And I don't mean that to be insulting, but just like, you can't be cool every day. I don't know.
The Fonz was cool every day.
Fonz was cool every
True.
day, but
True
he
story,
worked
fact.
at it, and he died young.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
plus he's still at it. Henry
Winkler
is-
did not die young,
yeah.
but the Fonz definitely died of a heroin overdose.
Wow.
Yes.
He got into
That's-
hair bands in the mid.
You heard it here, guys.
just motorcycle.
That's canon,
and,
guys.
Yeah.
Fonz died of a heroin overdose.
Yeah, I thought
Happens
it
to
was
the best of
really
us.
interesting the way Ray was portrayed in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I always like seeing clean comics or like comics that are kind of known for being like family comics. I always love seeing them be jerks.
Yeah.
and kind of like do dirty jokes. Like he did kind of like a dirty joke in the podcast, and I like it. I like that kind of.
Masturbating. Masturbating.
Yeah.
It's weird hearing him say masturbating.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's. I think the format sort of plays into it again, and we're sort of allowed to see behind the scenes. I mean, obviously it's a scripted show, so there's limits, pretty extreme limits. But it's cool that it shows that where it kind of makes a point of the censorship and how much that affects what the media actually portrays and what is real.
Yeah.
And Ray touched on it a little bit too. I felt like I acted like I gave you a lot when I gave you when I didn't let you in at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's a certain mask like someone that famous has to put on to just.
Right. You're
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 not
giving
gonna
the
know me.
impression that I'm giving you everything,
Yeah.
but I'm
Right.
honestly not giving you that much.
And
Yeah.
I like Mark's counter where it's like doing that in itself gives me a bunch, which I think is true. Like how you put on a mask shows you a lot about that person.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now, as you were saying earlier, Jesse, you know, Marc is he's getting bigger and bigger guests on the podcast. He's finally kind of blowing up. His career is taking off in the first big way that it has in maybe 20 years.
Yeah.
Or at the very least since Air America went off the air. And, you know, he sees himself, I think on some level, he sees a part of himself in Ray Romano. This is a guy, we're of a similar age, where we've both been comedians almost all of our lives. And, you know, we both admit openly that we don't have many friends. You know, he's famous, I'm famous. I have a podcast, he came on it, you know, so of course we have stuff in common. And he kind of has a little bit of a guy crush on him, you know, because he's cool and he's rich, and why couldn't they be friends?
It's Ray Romano.
Yeah.
Of course he does.
Everyone loves Raymond.
Everybody.
You ever hear of a guy who didn't like Ray?
I didn't.
You tell me
not
about
heard
a guy who didn't like Ray, I'll kneecap him right now.
See, that's
They
what
disappear him. They disappear a guy who doesn't like Ray.
Yeah.
there's an odd
Disappear.
subplot to that entire show.
Listen up. Listen good. Everybody, all the guys on 6th Street want to let you know, if you don't love Raymond, you better move.
Better disappear.
You better disappear.
better
We're
not be
gonna
on 6th
take
Street.
a revenge on you. But I don't know. It's interesting. I want to open this up to the room. Living in Hollywood, do any of you have any like famous or semi-famous friends? And is that weird? You know, like Ray on this version of Ray is you see why he doesn't have any friends is because he is kind of a condescending dick who keeps people around so that he doesn't have to do stuff, so that he has someone to bounce whatever he wants to say off of, and so that he can show off the things that he collects. It's a sad life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like starting to like work on the internet, and like now I'm working with these people who like have all these fans, and it's weird.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's very weird, and like they're talking about like sponsorship deals and like stuff like that. Or like this girl just left and she had all these sponsorship deals, and it made everyone all upset. And I don't know, it's just strange.
Yeah, I mean, I know enough about that culture where I've seen it, and it is very odd to see someone who has to kind of be on all the time.
Yeah.
Like no matter where they are, which in this it doesn't seem like Ray really buys into that. It seems like Ray is just Ray wherever he is.
But a lot of younger and or less established people in that role of celebrity tend to like, oh, I have to be this person
Right.
all the time.
But I feel like if you meet someone famous and they're cool, of course you want to be their friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you think you can be their friend.
Yeah.
Like if you meet Ed Begley in the Valley, you'd just be like, hey, what's up, man? Let's go ride bikes together.
I would totally be Ed Begley's friend. Let's
Yeah.
build a birdhouse.
Yeah, exactly. Let's ride a bicycle and like charge up enough to make toast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's gonna be photovoltaic from now on.
Nice.
Yeah. But you know, Mark gets it in his head. There's no reason why we couldn't be friends, and he kind of softballs this to Kyle. And it's always great to see Kyle return. I love the character of Kyle, the assistant. And Kyle gets very defensive and territorial because, you know, he sees himself as Mark's best friend. He's projecting on Mark what Mark's projecting on Ray.
Yeah, it's multi-layered. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Oh,
chain.
yeah, it's meta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the never-ending chain of, you know, fame and desire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. I mean, when you're a celebrity, I work sort of. I'm an associate producer by day, so I work, have worked with celebrities, and it's interesting to see, you know, how they deal with that. They are at certain points of the day entertaining thousands of people. So you go from that right afterwards. You're in a room with like 10 people. You know, your body gets so many endorphins and such a natural high from that. It's like, how do those people fulfill that the rest of your day? I mean, if you went from on stage, if you're a musician, so to speak, you're performing for thousands of people screaming for you, and then you step off stage, and if you're married, you go to one person. So it's sort of an interesting dynamic where they have such huge shoes to fill. You know, puts a lot of pressure on the relationship, and sort of we see that with the assistants, that tight-knit relationship is sort of a lot to take.
And I've found the more money someone makes, the more people there are around them whose job it is to just keep them in a bubble.
Right.
So that, like, a couple of the comedians I know, one of the most innermost things I've ever heard was, that's funny, right? That aside from going out on stage and playing it, they have they're in their bubble full of people who are just like, no, that's hysterical.
Right.
Where it's
Yeah.
like they need someone who's just like, no, use some work.
Exactly. There's so many yes men, and that's all because they want something from you. They want to be liked. I mean, not everybody gets starstruck, but it is still pretty cool to see someone that you know. I mean, we get this familiarity by being around them or seeing them, and so we sort of associate that with a closer relationship, even though we've oftentimes never met them.
Right.
When you see someone on the street, it's sort of like, oh, hey, there's that person. I know them, but they obviously do not know
I'm
you.
actually really good with faces, and I watch a lot of television. So every now and again, I'll see someone on the street, and I'll see someone on the street that's on a TV show
Right.
that I watch, and I make that face as if like I know them, and my brain has to tell me, fix your face. You don't actually.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Right.
I'd love to say
The
hi,
roommate from the
it's-
newsroom,
yeah.
you don't actually know her.
Right.
Ah, fair enough.
I saw her Saturday.
Except Mark has a no man. Like Kyle is saying no to Mark this entire episode. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have a bubble, and even Ray doesn't have a bubble.
No, his
You know.
wife is not a yes woman.
Not a yes woman.
yeah.
They
No.
both have no people in their lives.
Yeah.
So in any case, you know, Mark's like, screw it. I'm going to just call him and see what's up. And it's like, it's that awkward kind of call, like when you're calling, you know, a girl you like and you want to ask her out. and he calls, and there's this voice on the phone. It's obviously not Ray.
The most famous voice.
The most, you know, it's
People
not.
won't do good impressions of me.
Yeah.
Like that one,
Sandwich. You know, if it doesn't sound like that, you stop. But it's the assistant, and, you know, Mark's immediately regretting it. Oh, God, no. Ugh, I sound like such an a-hole. And then Ray gets on the phone, and Mark just says hang out like a dozen times.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, it's a little late. He's like, yeah, I understand. He crumples into nothing. He's like, but I'm free on Tuesday. Oh, great. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, wait, what are we doing? Oh, all right. Already off the phone. He does not care one bit.
Yeah, I've been in that situation before. I'm so much more comfortable asking a girl out than I am like asking to hang with a bro.
Yeah.
Like
It's weird.
I feel like there's more online if you hang with a bro, and you know where you stand when you're with a girl. You're like,
right.
I'm working towards a goal.
I want to be with you. That's what I want.
Right.
With a bro, you're like, I want companionship. I want. I don't know. I don't know where I stand here. So I've definitely been in that situation.
But
before.
when you're a kid, male friendships kind of develop relatively organically.
Yeah.
You know, and then it becomes such a background skill that you don't have to work on it much. And then you turn into a teenager, and you spend 10, 15 years developing your, I like girls, I'm going to, you know, be able to be confident enough to ask them out and, you know, no longer care what they think and just enjoy being with them.
Sure.
So then once you finish all that, you're looking around like, oh, wow, where did all my friends go? And you have to relearn how to do that, and it's way scary.
Right. They all did that
Yeah.
and then got wives.
Exactly.
Now they're
wives
busy.
or girlfriends or, you know, whatever. But it's hard. So he brings Ray back to that same coffee shop just to rub it in these dudes' faces.
Yeah.
And he's treating everything Ray's saying like it's gold, and I just feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
It's
pretty
pretty shameless.
It was a really uncomfortable scene.
Yeah.
Well, I love him hitting his hand on the table. That was hilarious. But yeah, he's very much so just being that yes man. Like, I want to impress you. It's sort of like a mandate at that point where it's like, you are better than me, and he's sort of like playing into that, and that's why Ray sort of falls into the natural thing of making him do things for him.
Yeah.
He sort of fits into that profile of, you are lower than me socially. Like,
Well,
the
it's not
statuses
just
are different.
that. He's desperate to please. When the lunch was over, Ray was getting up to go. He was going to go run an errand. That should have been the end of it.
It would have been great.
But Mark's desperation is so palpable that Ray feels bad. You know, he's like, you want to come with? Come, why not? You know, which, like, thinking about it now, if Mark had carpooled with Ray to the coffee shop in the first place, Ray would have been stranding him anyway.
Yeah.
Before going to Danny's dugout. Danny's dugout? Dave's dugout? Donnie's dugout?
Danny, maybe?
The
I think it might
dugout?
have been
dugout.
The sports store.
A D,
A sports store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I'm hoping is a real store, but probably not.
Probably not. But the guy who played the proprietor of that store,
he was
That guy was awesome.
perfect, wonderful deadpan,
Yeah.
like rich loathing for Mark. I was so
when he
pleased.
came,
Yeah,
when
just-
he
yeah,
came
I'd
to
buy
get
a
the
hat.
Kings,
I'd buy a
the
hat.
Kings, you realize they're not the actual players' jerseys. It was great. Yeah.
It's just so effing dry.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. So.
Well, the scene where Ray's on the phone and Mark has like the bags, and he's trying to understand Ray telling him to put the bags in his car, and then Ray throws the keys
The keys.
nowhere near Mark.
Right. This
Just
keys to like a pristine Porsche Cayenne.
Yeah.
You know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love Mark's, like, he's got these two big bags, and then his pathetic, like, it's locked. While he's on the phone. And, like, he's like, I have a career. I have a job. This is my life. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You're here. Help with that. Just help me out. If you want to be here, fine. Just, you know.
Well, Mark's like one of those girls that you had a crush on, where you're like, your boyfriend does not respect you, and all you want is his respect, and he's not going to give it to you because you want it so badly. Mark was like so willing to do anything for Ray that there's no way that Ray's going to respect him.
Yeah.
Because Mark's personality at this point was just based on how Ray was treating him.
Right.
And I think Ray may have been trying to pull rank a little bit. I mean, he went into the store. He knew that Mark was sort of following him at that point, and he made the decision to buy the 2 cards that he was debating, and then just impulse buy the whole shelf.
Yeah.
I mean,
Full of stuff that he didn't even examine.
Right.
Yeah.
And just hands him a wad of cash, like knowing he's not going to pocket any of that.
Yeah. I don't know if he was pulling rank or that as soon as Mark started acting that way, Ray just kind of fell into like, this is how I am
autopilot.
with everyone else.
Exactly.
Or I think it was just him out. Ray was out having his day, and then he gets that phone call of business mode, that he just goes into business mode, and anyone in his life, once he's in business mode, is just, you better understand, this is my life.
Right.
Right.
You better-
Well,
so just buy the whole thing, welcome to my car.
I would buy that if not for how he treats Mark later on with this whole hockey game. But what I love about this moment with the cash, first of all, it's absurd. He just hands him like probably $1,500 in cash.
Yeah.
And Mark, in this moment, this is the perks. These are the perks. This is the cool part. Like I hang out with Ray Romano. He hands me a wad of cash, and I pay for his sports stuff because he trusts me. We're friends. Not seeing it for what it is. And then Mark stuffs the rest of the cash in his hands. He's like, I gotta go. I'm sorry. I'm leaving you. Goodbye. And it's hard not to feel like kind of a little horror, little hoey.
Yeah.
Well, especially since he did accept the money after the transaction.
It was like, I got to
He's
pay
like,
for the cab.
yeah.
Well, it was
Here's
probably
$200
Yeah, it was probably
for a cab.
$200. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd take it.
Yeah.
I don't give a crap.
Well, everyone deserves to feel a little hoary every once in a while.
Everyone deserves to feel
a little
hoary.
I don't know if we
once in a
deserve
while.
it,
They
but I
deserve
feel like
it.
we'd all be in that position where we'd be like,
The greatest hoary
I'll let
ever
Ray
ever
Romano
told.
buy me
Yeah.
a cab home, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The never-ending hoary.
Yeah. Keep going.
Let's
Yeah.
Let's
Here's a little hoary about Jack and Diane.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Two American kids doing the best they can.
There's a hoary about a lovely lady.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
American Horror Story.
Oh.
Okay.
No, American horror hoary.
Yeah. It
Oh,
would be
sorry.
horror.
This
Oh my
is a
God.
hoary of a man named Brady.
There we
Yeah.
go.
In any case, Mark goes home and, Kyle just rips into him for it because, Ray's obviously treating him like garbage and he's not realizing it. And then Ray calls and Kyle's like, it's him.
Yeah.
Like the jilted lover. And Ray's like, hey, man, I'm really sorry. And Mark's like, oh, great. You apologize. I knew you were a great friend. This is wonderful. Well, no, it's for the National Enquirer photos. Somebody really, really loves Raymond. And it's just Mark looks so like sad and pathetic with these big bags and he's following him around and like I feel like he's never looked older than holding these bags like a little girl helping out mommy.
The thing is, while I was watching that, I was thinking, like, in real life, if that had happened, I'd be like, oh, what a great job. What a great thing for Mark Maron. Now people who are Ray Romano fans
Will know about it.
Crossover.
All middle America will now know who Mark Maron is.
Right.
And he might get some new fans. Like,
That's great.
Sort of,
That
but
would
he's
be-
being known as Ray Romano's assistant, bitch.
Well,
yeah, but it would open
His
him
name
up to a
came
new
up.
I'm sorry,
market.
you're not head bitch. You are assistant.
Assistant.
You
bitch.
are
You are not head bitch.
Yeah.
Assistant.
You're not HBIC. You are ABIC.
You take
Exactly, there's
notes
a
for
hierarchy.
head
and you're
bitch.
nowhere near the bottom bitch.
Yeah, that's
Completely.
true. You want to be bottom bitch. You,
You gotta
need to put
earn
in
it.
some years.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to see some dedication.
We know a lot about pimps. And their
We really-
hierarchy. Yeah.
Yeah, what they don't,
As a
what no one
culture, I
realizes
think
is
we
this
do.
is just the pimping after show.
Yeah, sure.
After we
Fair
pimp, we talk about it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's cultural education here, people.
Okay.
It's good stuff.
Before we get into the hockey game and all that stuff, I just want to talk really quickly about iTunes. Folks, thank you for downloading the podcast, listening, streaming, watching. You're all the greatest. We here at AfterBuzz TV, we put out between 60 and 70 hours of free content a week. It's a crazy, staggering amount of stuff. You get it all for free, and it doesn't cost you a dime. Some people, maybe you, out there in the world, wondering, how can I help out this lovely enterprise? I'll tell you. Go to iTunes, rate, review the show. Any show that you watch or you download or you listen to for AfterBuzz TV, and I'll tell you why. Every time that you rate and review a show, it makes our series more searchable on iTunes. It makes it easier for people to find our programming and download it and enjoy it the same way that you do. It's also the best way for us to score sponsors who keep the lights on, who keep the doors open here. They pay for everything, so you don't have to. So it doesn't cost you anything. Rate and review the show. We love 5-star ratings, personally, just because
I'm a big fan.
More is always better. Yeah.
Just makes the math easy. If you're...
Yeah. It's also how we get great guest stars. Like I am actively, campaigning to try to get Marc Maron on this show. I don't think that's a crazy thing.
I don't
But
think so either.
having some ratings and reviews to show that we're not some punks would really, really help the cause.
We are punks.
I think.
But not some punks. We're
No.
the punks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is anyone's mom attracted to Marc Maron? Have we tried that route? That she,
I have not.
No,
season
I have
one
not.
I'm gonna leave that up
No.
to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
gotta-
I loved that episode, and
Yeah.
I was so disappointed when she was married because I thought that she was a great foil for him. But that's
Yeah.
another discussion for another time.
Sure.
Yeah, Gina Gershon, great.
Yes.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah, she looks great for. I mean,
She looks slamming.
I would.
You
You
would?
would.
I would.
You would?
Yeah, of course I would.
I think
her
a
out
lot
to-
of people
take
would.
her
She
out to
was
a nice
phenomenal
movie.
for
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I would take her out to a nice. We'd go see Godzilla.
All right, great.
a nice seafood dinner and never call her again.
All right, so Ray invites Marc over to come watch the hockey game. Now, I may be misremembering, but I think he was saying it in the context of as an apology
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the National Enquirer. So it's not because he wants to hang out with him. It's as an apology.
I'm sorry
get-
that
Yeah, it's
happened.
definitely but
Obligated.
I can't even-
Yeah.
Yes. So, Mark's all excited. He says that he's a big hockey fan. And of course, he's going to get caught in it because he's a big dummy, and he's not convincing. He doesn't know anything about sports. He doesn't care. He just wants to hang out with Ray because he feels cool. And it's nice to have a friend his own age who isn't Andy Kindler. Not that there's anything wrong with Andy Kindler.
Love Andy Kindler.
Love Andy Kindler.
He's coming up in this season.
I was worried that it was gonna go in a direction where I'd seen it before, where it's like Mark would get called out on how little he knows about hockey, but Ray didn't care at all.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not one bit. He was going to watch a game today because he had money on it.
Yeah.
And, if there was a guy around so that he didn't have to get off the couch to get his root beer and his string cheese,
Yeah.
it was perfect. The whole time I'm like, but are they fresh mozzarella string cheese?
Yeah, I wanted to
They
know.
have to be.
Yeah.
I think
If
it's
you're
the
Ray
Costco
Romano,
brand. I think it's the
Ooh.
Costco brand. You get it in bulk. You put it with that.
No, I think
No, that was premium root beer.
No, I think
That was premium root
That
beer.
that was a Virgil's. That was a Virgil's
Oh,
or
yeah.
better.
It could
was
be
a lot of-
IFC. Could
it was-
be IFC.
IBC.
It was.
IBC? Is it?
IBC. IFC's the network.
IFC is network. True.
It was in
I
a
got
bottle
incepted
that
early.
wasn't a screw top. It
Yeah.
was.
It was
they
a
had-
twist.
Yeah.
No,
It was a twist.
It was a
Wasn't
twist.
In the
It wasn't
show,
a twist. They
it's a
brought
twist.
it.
It's a
No.
twist. He
The
twisted.
remote in the massive bowl of
Okay,
remotes
was it a
looked
remote?
like a bottle opener.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that was bottle opener, and then
Hold
okay, so not top quality root beer.
What I've gathered from celebrity homes is that everything in that refrigerator was probably gifted. Because
yeah.
that's the strange the strange industry I'm starting to notice is just celebrity gifting. We have this brand new type of root beer. Let's
Right.
send cases to Ray Romano's house in hopes that he'll put it in his refrigerator.
Yeah.
And not give it away to his friends.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous how much like the more famous you are, the
God.
more free stuff you
Yeah.
get. Like what that is.
I'm trying to do that right now with this there's this thing called Soylent, not Soylent Green, just Soylent.
Soylent.
Oh right, yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
one
It's
thing
not
like you
people.
drink
It's
it
like
and
it's
everything you
it's
need,
like
right?
yeah, it's not. It's basically it's the hypothesis that you don't need food. You can survive on something that's just nutritionally perfect and gives you every nutrient that you could possibly need in a day. It's just a pouch, and you combine it with water, and you blend it up, and it's just a thing. So I was like, this is cool. What if am I potentially famous enough that if I do a whole
Get
month of it
sponsors.
and vlog it, will they send it to me for free? I don't know. We'll find out.
We will.
Yeah. But I don't know. Is that wrong?
I mean, the idea of Soylent is wrong to me.
Yeah,
I like
Soylent
food.
Green and no good.
Yeah.
Don't want to be drinking people.
You could probably convince me though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I think the idea of taking away food
Yeah.
altogether, as someone who gets really busy, I kind of like.
Yeah.
That it's just like meals tend to break up my day. But when I'm really productive, I'm like, I'd rather just stay
Just
sitting
keep
here.
going.
Just stay sitting here doing this
Yeah.
instead of having to go somewhere and eat and then see somebody.
Right. I mean, there's a
your
very
whole
big
day's gone.
convenience factor. I mean,
Yeah.
we digressed a little bit, but
Right.
I'll stay on it.
I've never
Well, we're
been-
trying to get him a sponsorship.
Right, of course.
I've never
let's,
been
let's plug this.
inconvenienced by a pizza. Like, if I was typing something and then there was a slice of pizza, and I was like, oh.
But you have to go and get the slice of pizza and
Right.
come back.
Oh no! Before I start typing, I bring the pizza over. Then I start doing my work, and then I've got it right there. You
Yeah.
see,
Oh, wow.
I've thought of every angle.
Wow.
Pizza isn't always open. If you have that pouch just at the ready,
All right.
you're good to go anytime.
All right.
think we need to
Let's-
talk about
we'll,
Soylent
we'll
for
save
4 more
this.
minutes.
We'll save this for another day.
Yeah.
In any
To be
case.
continued.
Yeah. In any case, Ray, he decides he has to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So he pauses.
Has to go to the can.
He has to go to the can. Sorry.
of course.
Pauses the game, and I guess Mark's on pause now too. And
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Have you ever been to a friend's house? It's
I
like
hate
it's
it.
really weird, and you're just kind of like waiting around, and it feels very dismissive. I understand if it's like a drama, and it's like, oh, you don't want to miss
Yeah, yeah.
anything. But if it's a game where like no one's scoring
Yeah, it's
for a
hockey. Yeah.
while,
Yeah.
Right.
you don't need to see every minute. If anything amazing happened,
You can
we'll
rewind
go
it.
back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm hosting and something like that happens, where like we need to pause or something like that, I'll just put it on a different thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
DVRs exist so you can like pause something or record something and then put it somewhere else. So
Yeah.
I'll just put on a different
Take
show.
care of your guests.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
them put their feet up on your table.
That's the side that you don't put feet on. There's a specific
it's
The
the
side.
side
like
that's
the
trimmed
same
with
table.
gold.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, he was invited not really as a friend, but as
Yeah.
a favor. It was like, I feel bad. It's more of that assistant role again, where he was able to leave him just at his house by himself. He's like, well, you'll enjoy this better because you don't get to live at a house that
Right.
is this awesome. So you should stay and enjoy the fruits of my labor.
Yeah. That was a sweet house though.
It was
Yeah,
a
it
sweet
was
house,
very
but
cute.
it's it had nothing on the Boo house that he had.
Oh,
the
that's
house
true.
around the Boo.
The Boo House is great.
Yeah, it's
The Boo
way
house.
better.
The Boo.
The Boo House that in real life is too nice for him to let Maron shoot in.
Right.
Yeah.
Shoot the actual
Yeah.
TV show.
Probably.
But in any case, Ray's wife comes home and she's like, "Well, who are you?" And I'm Marc Maron. And she's like, "Ray," and we're all getting flashbacks to the sitcom. And then she's just like screaming at him, laying into him because he wasn't supposed to have people there. And now that Ray's getting into it with his wife, he knows he's not going to be able to watch the game. It's just like, okay, go play, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's just this very dismissive move. And then Mark's just sitting there watching this game that he doesn't even care about. And all of a sudden, Ray and his wife come out in formal wear. And he's like, oh, just lock up after yourself. Enjoy it. Have a root beer. See ya.
Yeah, it was sort of like the parents leaving a kid home.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
There's
parents
money
gonna go out
for-
for dinner.
there's
here's
money
money
for
for pizza.
pizza.
Yeah.
I mean, I have been at friends' houses when they've been like, "Oh, I have to go out and do something. Just hang out at my place."
Yeah.
And it's weird. I don't like hanging out in someone else's place
Yeah.
when they're not there.
I feel like I'm going to
Yeah.
break everything.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna break everything, and I feel like someone's going to come back that's not my friend.
Yeah.
and they're gonna be like, "Who's this imposter?"
Why are you here?
Yeah.
What is
Right.
this?
And then you get attacked.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You get a brick.
I was
You get
actually
a
dog
to
sitting
the
for
face,
someone
yeah.
2 weeks ago, and it took me 20 minutes and a phone call to figure out how to turn their TV on.
Jesus.
Like, sometimes just other people's homes and setups, it's like...
And you don't want to screw it up.
Yeah, like, and...
Yeah.
Where I was like, I don't want to just mess this up, and then I messed it up.
Right.
When I,
Well, yeah, you can't be yourself at someone
Yeah.
else's house, especially if they're not there. Like,
yeah, when I house sit, like I always make sure I am gone by the time the family
Oh,
comes.
absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Like
Absolutely.
I don't want them to see me like watching their TV and like eating off of one of their
Right.
plates when they come home.
You don't
from
want
was
them
a
to
big
have
one.
to
Yeah.
think about you doing anything in their house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
You don't want that image in their head.
I
It's
wouldn't
just
want that.
uncomfortable.
I wouldn't
It was
want
like
that
a
image in
child
my head.
ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a
Just
child
would-
ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you doing in my house?
Nothing, Child Ghost. It was fine.
I don't believe you. I left some dishes in the dishwasher, but they're not there anymore.
I emptied your dishwasher, Child Ghost. I thought you'd appreciate that. I'm sorry.
I don't appreciate when things aren't where I left them. You should have just that. You could have called and asked me.
You have a ghost phone?
I have a ghost phone. My phone number is 303-257.
I mean, we can catch us /4. I mean,
I'm sorry. We had a child ghost come through, and then
That happens. Can we explain the origin real quick? Just a little recap for the
Do you
listeners.
use Spirit Wireless?
Spirit Wireless gives me the best deal without contract.
Okay, that makes sense.
Most play. Creepy.
what? Okay.
Mom. Child mom ghost. All right. In any case,
I'm impressed.
wrapping it up, he goes back, he makes up with Kyle.
Perfect
Aren't
segue,
we
by the way.
happy? Aren't we happy, these two making up? Kyle feels bad, though, because he's been directing people to these National Enquirer photos all day long. And scene. Okay, predictions time. Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Jesse, you just broke your predictions Caesar light cherry there. You all right?
Oh, everyone can see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not some child
Okay.
ghost trying to wreak havoc.
Okay, so that
Okay,
is a
good.
thing where you don't tell anybody.
Right.
You just do that
Yeah.
to see how they react.
So we saw from the preview a few things from next episode. First of all, Marc and Jen are in counseling.
Yeah.
Which, again, art imitating life. Marc at one point on his podcast was talking about he was going to therapy the first time and getting diagnosed, with generalized anxiety disorder, not otherwise specified, I believe,
Wow.
is the actual
Interesting. Okay.
diagnosis.
Yeah.
And it was a whole big thing. So it's exciting to think about Marc in therapy and what that's going to expose about him. Jesse, I'm sorry, looking at your eyes down on the table, the reflection, your face upside down, your eyes look crazy.
Oh, they are crazy.
Yeah, they are
You've never looked in his eyes
crazy.
before?
Not upside down.
Okay.
You give me a flashing light.
Yeah. So we got that going on. Jen's also in therapy, and we got Dave Koechner taking a deuce in Marc's backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, really excited to see that scene
Yeah.
and how that plays
I
out.
feel like Dave is just kind of the perfect, like his
Yeah.
clown is kind of like the perfect counter to who Marc is.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Like I'm really looking forward to seeing those two kind of interact and
Right.
seeing like
It's
how
like inconsiderate sweet meeting inconsiderate insular sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really hope he plays sort of a similar character to Champ in Anchorman.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Sure,
that sort
yeah.
of belligerent personality, I think, would be hilarious, sort of to Marc Maron's soft, sort of Sonder approach at comedies.
Have you ever seen Dave Koechner do improv?
I have not live.
It's
Oh,
the
he's
greatest.
one of the- yeah.
It's great,
The
yeah.
greatest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Excellent.
what he doesn't kind of play like the blowhard every time. Like he's a great improviser.
He's
How much
wonderful.
of this show do you guys think is improv?
Not a lot.
I don't think-
I would maybe some of the interview portion.
Yeah, I don't know if Marc is comfortable with like a
Yeah.
bunch of improv on a show.
Yeah, I don't think he would allow it from others, but I think they probably shoot a lot of. I mean, his podcast segments,
Yeah.
he definitely, I think, plays the same way. I mean, obviously, podcasts are not. They're meant to feel like it's a live radio show, but obviously, they edit the content.
Right.
And that's what makes them good for that short period of time, or otherwise you'd have just dead airspace and crickets.
Yeah. That being said, I feel like if Ray Romano was like, I want to say this line instead,
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
think anyone's saying no to him.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably try a few things, and
Sure.
and
Yeah.
obviously you have to
one
edit
take.
it down.
They just
to,
do one take per scene.
Right. Yeah. Just everybody
right.
nails it right off the bat.
All right, folks. I think we're gonna wrap it up here just because we're coming up close on midnight.
Sweet.
And we all have
yeah.
to get home to empty apartments.
Yep.
So in any case, Jessie Klein, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can follow me at Jess Klein1 on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And Steve?
You can follow me at Steve Kaufmann, KAUFMANN.
Okay. And
Gotcha.
JB Zimmerman.
At JB_Zimmerman.
Okay. And you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. You can also find all my videos for AfterBuzz TV and SourceFed on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Matthew D. Lieberman. Other AfterBuzz shows, Mad Men. I got Under the Dome coming back soon. Halt and Catch Fire starting June 1st. Bunch of great stuff this summer. And Playing House on USA. Great comedy series. If you're not watching it, please do. It's a delight. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Well, we have to
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.